fill in triggered with velocity. In other words, you can trigger, or you can have the fill in be triggered by how fast or how gentle you play the keyboard. This should not be misunderstood as to how hard, in other words, how hard you press a key. That's aftertouch. That can also be programmed. In other words, if you press the key hard, you can trigger the fill in. In this case, I'm talking about velocity, how fast or how gentle you press the keyboard. That can be assigned to the fill in. Another interesting feature that has been added on this as well, the same idea, but this time it's associated with the fill-ins, okay? If I go into mode, you have the various ways you can trigger the fill. Of course, you can just press the fill button here. But before, we also had the capability of doing the aftertouch. What is aftertouch? Velocity is how fast you strike the key, or how hard or how gentle you do it. Aftertouch is when you press the key until it gets down to where you think it's done, and you press it again a little bit harder. Most guys don't even know this, right? And most ladies haven't tried this feature. If you press down again, you'll feel like a little click. It's a little room for the key to go a little bit more of a distance, but it requires additional pressure, right? That's the aftertouch. That right there is a switch that can be programmed to trigger various things. So for an example, if I go in here to this, the different fill-ins, the new feature that we've added on there right now is fill with velocity, similar to what we did on the lowers, right? If I am playing the style and I hit the keyboard hard, it will trigger a fill-in, okay? Now the question becomes, how hard do you want that fill to be felt, okay? So if I go to velocity 99, if I lower this velocity, and I don't think you want to do that, because now if you're playing a piano, it means that it's going to be filling in very quickly or very often because it's sensing how hard you're playing. So usually you want to have a high velocity here so that you have to trigger the fill-in intentionally. With that on, if I'm playing a chord and I hit that chord harder, you see that it fills. See the fill? I went to variation B. Let's take out the lowers for now. If I play normally, okay, if I hit it hard, see it did a fill and jump to variation C. If I play normally, nothing happens. If I hit it hard, it does a fill, okay? So I can use velocity and I can set the velocity, how hard or how soft should I play the keyboard before it triggers the fill. Also, if I turn this off, you see now I have the aftertouch. If I go here and take out that fill to break to arrange, and I turn on the aftertouch, I can still trigger that fill, like I said before, by just pressing hard on the keypad. If I press hard on the keypad, then it triggers the fill in, and then now it can do a fill to arranger, or you can have it fill and just go back to the same variation that it was on, okay? Now on the EVM, it gets tricky because then it depends on what MIDI controller you're using to control the EVM, and if that MIDI controller can transmit velocity, which most can, but most importantly, aftertouch. Not every MIDI controller can transmit aftertouch. So if you're using a keyboard MIDI controller or saxophone or guitar, you have to make sure that you have that capability, right? Now for guitar players, they don't really care. They're just triggering, they're using the MIDI on the strings. Or accordion players, I think also the same thing. But keyboard players, yes, if you're getting a MIDI controller keyboard, you want to make sure that it does have aftertouch so that you can actually use that functionality to work with the keyboard.